my day-to-day duties usually involve arresting diggers, so I can tear up their licenses and then fine them for not having a license and make myself a bit of money. Trick is, every fine I issue, I get half of it. They're late. So, every fine I issue, I get half. So, I'm just mostly trying to arrest diggers. So, first piece of equipment I'll talk about is this. This is what I call my small child attitude adjuster. It's also known as a truncheon. Parents, if you need one, come and see me afterwards. I do have spares. But this is made for a very hard but very light piece of wood. Perfect! Giving somebody a wrap around the back of the head. I have a digger running away, I come up behind them, crouch them around the back of the head, knock them out, and I can arrest them. Sound like a plan? Yeah. So, this is what the town and foot police would normally carry. Myself as a mounted trooper, I would normally have this. We carry these here at Sovereign Hill so that you folks, when you're looking at me, instantly recognise me as a police officer. Normally, I wouldn't have this. Instead, what I would have, my favourite piece of equipment, what is this? Thank you very much, sir. It is a sabre, it is not a sword. Now the difference between a sword and a sabre is, the sword is sharp on both sides. The sabre sharp on one side, blunt on the other. This is really handy for policing. So you imagine I'm on my horse galloping after a digger and I catch up with him and I swing down with the sharp side, what's going to happen? I'm going to cut him in half, which is bad for several reasons. Number one, it is frowned upon to kill somebody as a police officer. With the police, really not meant to do that sort of thing. Number two, as a police officer, if I do accidentally kill someone, I've got to fill out an awful lot of paperwork. And I really hate paperwork. The third, finally, most importantly, is if I kill somebody, then I cannot get any more money out of them. So, I can turn the weapon around, use the blunt edge, crouch them around the back of the head, knock them out, not kill them. That way I can arrest them and get some money from them. If they turn out to be a bit rowdy, I can turn the weapon around. This section of the weapon here is called the pommel. We all heard the phrase to give somebody a good pommeling before. This is where it comes from. Somebody gets a bit up close and in my face, I can turn the weapon around, clout them in the head with that, knock them out. Sound like a plan? Yeah. So, once I've knocked them out, what am I going to do to them next?
Grab some money.
I need to arrest them. So, for that, I need these. So these are my handcuffs. Made out of cast iron and they're quite heavy. They work very simply. Flip that over like so, clip it in there and it is locked. Now inside of there, you'll see there is a screw mechanism. Into that screws a screw key which will pop the whole thing open. This is where we believe that prison officers get their nickname, the Screws, from. So, this goes in there like so, clip it on like that. Now, these are a perfect fit for me, but imagine people with smaller wrists, bigger wrists, they're not going to be able to fit in there. Either they'll slide out or we're not going to be able to force them closed. So, a couple of different methods. Uniform regulations state that I must carry at least 5 different sets of handcuffs with me at all times, just for this eventuality, because we do come in different sizes. So we do have a children's size. There's an intermediate, this is the medium set, there's another intermediate, and there's a larger set for the larger gentleman. As I said though, these are made out of cast iron, they are very, very heavy. You imagine me walking around with 5 of these on my belt all day, by the end of the day I'm going to be walking like this. So I'm actually going to carry all 5 sets of handcuffs. I'm going to carry this set, the medium set. These are not adjustable, but human wrists are. Can I borrow your wrist there, sir? Just put it on there like that. Alright, thank you. Just hold still. Alright, you ready? You ready? You nod your head, I'll hit it. It's alright, it won't hurt until I hit you.
Yeah.
How about we go on 3, sir? Ready? 1, 2... I wouldn't. Thank you, sir. So, if your wrists are too small and you're going to slide out, what we do, find yourselves a nice hard surface, give it a good tap. That wrist is going to, swell up. You won't be able to get your wrist down. Similar process for the larger gentleman whose wrists won't actually fit in there. Again, nice hard surface. We just keep on beating your wrists until they're nice and squishy. That way we can force them in the handcuffs, force the handcuffs closed, and you're arrested. Sound like a plan?
Yeah.
Yep, excellent. Now at this point I should ask, anybody wanting to be arrested? Sound like a fun thing to do? No? Right, so that means that you lot are resisting arrest, which means I've got to escalate things, which is where this comes in. So this is my 58 caliber smoothbore pistol. It fires a solid lead 58 caliber slug this size. This solid lead 58 caliber slug is 100% accurate up until here. After that, it will go anywhere, and I mean anywhere. So, if I want to guarantee to say hit a gentleman at this range with this weapon, what I would do, turn it round and throw it at him. Utterly useless, this thing. Couldn't hit the barn door inside the barn. We're trying to get our hands on new modern firearms. Things like this. So this is the new Remington revolver coming over from America. 6 shots before you have to reload, and it is rifled, so it's much more accurate. The way we get our hands on one of these is we find a digger who has one. We arrest him for something, and then we steal his pistol. But get rid of the 58 caliber because it's utterly useless. So, I still need to shoot something. Yes, folks? That is where this comes in. So this is my 2-band 58 caliber smoothbore Enfield carbine musket. That's now covered in dust. So it is called a 2-band because these 2 bands attach the barrel to the stock. Now we all heard the phrase lock, stock, and barrel to mean the whole thing. This is where it comes from. This is the lock, this is the stock, this is the barrel. You need all 3 to have a functioning firearm. Now to load it, what we need is some of this stuff. Got grit in the eye now, which is always convenient when I'm loading a gun. So, this is our black powder. Now we do use the real deal here. Just see it down the end there. Black powder, so called because it is black, and it is a powder. We're very good at naming things, as you'll find out. What we do, that is 1 charge, pour it down the muzzle of the weapon. Now, we're here for a good time today, folks?
Yeah.
Yep, alright, I'll put another charge in. So, there we are, just like that. Now, the next step for loading the gun is to take, when I can find it again, our 58 caliber lead slug, put that down the barrel as well. Today, I'm not going to do that. As a clever man once said, what goes up must come down. That's right, and you've guessed it, this comes down on somebody, I've got to fill out paperwork. I hate paperwork, so we'll skip that bit out. Next step is to take some of this stuff. Now this is what we call wadding. Now today I'm using paper, but wadding can be whatever you can get your hands on. So bits of bark off the ground, a handful of grass, a handful of recycled grass from the back end of a horse. Whatever you can get your hands on just to plug the barrel like so. The next step, take out this rod that is used for ramming and known by the very imaginative name as a ramrod. Yeah, put that in there, we're going to push everything right to the bottom. Next, I'm going to give everything several good, hard, sharp taps to make sure it's all nice and compressed at the bottom of the gun. And I know when it starts bouncing back up like that, that is all nice and compressed. So, next step, which is a really important step, is to remember to remove the ramrod from the gun and replace it underneath. Now, in the middle of a firefight, a lot of new recruits will often panic and forget to remove the ramrod. This is incredibly funny when it skewers whoever they're aiming at. It does, however, mean that you cannot reload the gun. Now, I can guarantee you that man that you've just comically skewered will have friends. They now know you cannot reload, they will charge you, they will kill you. So remember, folks, always remove the ramrod so you can kill your friends. That's the gun loaded, just need to prime it. What I'm going to do, pull the hammer back into the safety position. We're going to take out a small top hat percussion cap. So called because it's small, looks like a top hat, but is in fact, you guessed it, a percussion cap. Again, we're great at naming things. Inside of there is a green solution. That is a phosphate compound, which when struck sharply by the hammer will create a spark. That spark will travel down the nipple here into the main chamber of the gun, ignite the powder, and the whole thing will go bang. Now, well-trained troopers should be able to do all of that once every 20 seconds or 3 times a minute. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to fire this weapon. I will warn you, the noise emanating from this weapon will be somewhat voluminous in nature, so it's recommended that you take your digits and place them firmly in your auricular orifices. Or put your fingers in your ears, folks, because it's going to be loud. I'll come out here so I don't blow a hole in the roof again. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, fingers in your ears. Weapon is armed. Firing the weapon in 3, 2, 1. And there we are, ladies and gentlemen. That is how you load and fire a 2-band musket. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.